Of August the 26th, 2026. I will call the meeting to order and call the roll. Good morning to Mayor Pat Wilford of Asheville, Norwood.
Good morning.
And we have Deputy Mayor Lori Burt.
Good morning.
Morning. We also have online Matthew Graham, the Mayor of Cava-Monaghan.
Good morning.
And the Deputy Mayor Ryan Huntley, Cava-Monaghan.
Good morning.
Morning. Mayor of Duro-Dummer, Heather Watson.
Good morning.
Harold Nelson appears to be absent. Mayor of Havelock Belmont Methuen, Jim Martin.
Present.
And the Deputy Mayor, Hart Webb.
Good morning.
Good morning. Online, we have the Mayor of North Kawartha, Carolyn Amliot.
Good morning.
And we have the Deputy Mayor, Jim Whalen.
Thanks for remembering, Sherry.
I know. Good morning.
Morning.
We also have the Mayor of Autonomy South Monaghan, Joe Taylor.
Good morning, Chair. Sense. Thank you.
And the Deputy Mayor and Warden Bonnie Clark is absent and on holidays. Myself, I'm the Mayor of Selwyn and the Deputy Warden, and we have the Deputy Mayor of Selwyn, Ron Black.
Thank you, here.
We have the Mayor of Trent Lakes, Terry Lamshead,
I am present.
and the Deputy Mayor, Carol Armstrong.
Good morning.
Good morning. We'll now hear our land acknowledgement.
With deep respect, we acknowledge the lands and interconnected waterways that bind us together, the foundation for all life. These lands serve as a keeper of history and stories and are a source of inspiration. In recognizing this, we embrace that all living things possess an important energy and purpose. We extend the utmost gratitude to the original peoples who have been caretakers of these lands and waters of this region from time immemorial, and to this day who continue this commitment. Peterborough County's dedication to reconciliation remains steadfast. In this spirit, we are committed to nurturing meaningful partnerships and connections that contribute to an environment of prosperity and well-being for all generations to come. This acknowledgement is made on the Treaty 20 land and the territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe, and within the traditional lands of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nations. Further, our gratitude is extended to the nations of Alderville, Beausoleil, Curve Lake, Georgina Island, Hiawatha, Rama, and Scugog Island.
Please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. We have our agenda before us as circulated. Can I have someone move it? Moved by Councillor Lambshead, seconded by Councillor Burt. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Can you please state it now or at the time of the discussion? And we have our minutes of August the 5th, 2026. I'm looking for someone to adopt them. Councillor Wilford and Councillor Martin, all in favor? Ms. carried, thank you. Sharon Graham is now going to introduce us to the new Director of Corporate Services.
Good morning, Council, and through you, Warden, our Deputy Warden. Sherry Anderson, our General Manager of Corporate Initiatives, is a successful candidate for our recent recruitment for a new Director of Corporate Services. Sherry will lead the full corporate services team, finance, people services, ITGIS, and corporate initiatives. With more than a decade of progressive municipal experience across finance, IT, people services, Sherry has built a career defined by strategic leadership, organizational modernization, and a commitment to service excellence. She brings a strong foundation in HR, including compensation, job evaluation, pay equity compliance, labor relations support, and benefit plan administration. Her current role as General Manager of Corporate Initiative has prepared her to contribute meaningfully at the senior leadership level and has been processing through our people plan that we put in place many years ago. And she is key to support the county's long-term vision. She will and has already begun her new role as Director of Corporate Services and is going to be working with Jen very closely over the next few months to transition her role smoothly. And I'd just like to congratulate Sherry on her new role with the county.
We'll keep it brief, but I do want to just say thank you through Sheridan and as well for the mentorship from Jennifer here, but looking forward through you, Sherry, today to working closer with council over these next few months and then through years to come. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And now we welcome someone who's no stranger to County Council, Chris Galeazza, who's the Department Commander for Peterborough County OPP Detachment. And just wanted to mention that Heather Watson is the chair of the board for the Peterborough County OPP Detachment. And we also have in attendance Brian Henry, who is a member of that board as well. Welcome.
Thank you. And through you, Warden, or Deputy Warden, good morning, members of County Council, staff. It's nice to be back in the chamber with you. I'd rather not be presenting. I like just sitting, watching you guys work. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing us to present the Detachment Action Plan 2026 through 2029. Councillors have had the opportunity to review the action plan and the presentation in advance. So I'll move quickly through the sections and just highlighting some key priorities, some of the consultation process, and walk you through how we intend to measure our success over the 4-year period. This is the first detachment action plan under the new Community Safety and Policing Act. And it really does represent a collaborative effort between the detachment board, the detachment itself, our First Nation partners, elected officials, community organizations, service providers, and members of the public. Before discussing the action plan itself, I'd like to acknowledge the important role of the detachment board. The board provides civilian governance and oversight to OPP policing services within the detachment area. It's responsible for ensuring that our community priorities are reflected in the policing plans and that our performance is measured and reported. The development of the action plan was a collaborative process between the board and the detachment, and throughout the life of this plan, the board will continue to monitor the outcomes, review our performance indicators, and ensure accountability to the communities that we serve. Next slide, please. So what is the action plan? The action plan at its core is a 4-year roadmap. It identifies the public safety priorities that were consistently raised through the consultation process and provides a framework for the detachment to address these priorities. It's simply not just a list of activities. It establishes our actions, outcomes, so that the board and the public can evaluate whether we are making a meaningful difference. So the plan itself is designed to be a living document that serves as a guide, but also allows us to remain responsive to emerging issues and changing community needs. Next slide. So I won't spend a lot of time. You know how vast the area is, how different each of your communities are. But I would say the list of differences between your communities, there's equal number of similarities. And the plan allows us just a creative license to deliver policing throughout the area. Next slide, please. So the strategic pillars, the action plan is organized around the OPP's 3 corporate planning pillars: crime, roadways, waterways, and trails, and community well-being. So while the pillars are set organizationally, the actual plans, the commitments, the priorities are all set locally. And again, the priorities that we'll get into following were a culmination of community satisfaction survey, a direct survey through the detachment board, community forums, input from both band and municipal councils, partner agency consultation, and analysis of local policing trends. Next slide, please. So under the crime pillar, there's 3 themes that consistently emerge through the consultation process. For us to be proactive, protect vulnerable people, and educate. So prevention through education. This is reflected in our commitments around proactive patrols, intimate partner violence investigations, property crime reduction, illicit drug trafficking interruption, and human trafficking awareness. Next slide, please. So while these priorities are different in nature, they share a common goal: reducing victimization before it occurs, and to assign resources if prevention measures alone were unsuccessful. Next slide. Roadways, waterways, and trails. I wish they would find a catch-all to shorten that, but traffic safety remains one of the most common concerns raised by residents. Really, it's the way an individual is going to come into contact with the police or become a victim of a crime. Our plan focuses on increasing local traffic expertise through training, addressing the big 4 contributing factors to motor vehicle collisions, enhancing marine and trail patrols, and strengthening commercial vehicle enforcement through our partnerships. Next slide, please. So overall, the objective is simple: fewer collisions, fewer injuries, and safer transportation corridors. Thank you. Community well-being. So this pillar reflects our belief that public safety is a shared priority. The pillar focuses on strengthening our relationships with residents, our youth, our health partners, the detachment board, and community organizations. So particular emphasis has been placed on youth engagement, mental health through our mobile crisis response team, gender-based violence prevention, and addressing hate and bias incidents through education and partnership. Okay. So into measuring our work. So we'll evaluate our work using both qualitative and quantitative measures. The quantitatively, we'll track things such as crime trends, traffic enforcement activities, collisions, engagement events, and calls for service. This information is presented currently quarterly at our scheduled detachment board meetings. Next slide. Qualitatively, we will assess stakeholder feedback, partnership effectiveness, and other identifiable outcomes. Success is not measured by activity alone. Success means reduced harm, improved public safety, and increased public confidence. So, and just an example is the the party program that we currently run with. So PRHC runs the program. We are a partner. The party program prevents alcohol and risk-related traumas in youth. The target audience is grade 10 to 12. We've reached 322 students, 25 educators, over 12 sessions. Next slide, please. Okay, everyone loves a slide with numbers, except me, being in the hot seat. But this slide just represents some of the current data to date. And hopefully I beat someone to the punch. Under fraud, there's a $sign with XXX losses. That's the qualitative approach. I can tell you that over the last 5 years, there's been approximately $15 million lost in frauds. How do you put a value to it? Yes, $15 is a lot of money. A lot of the frauds are happening through Facebook Marketplace. So that 16-year-old who saved birthday money, their money from their part-time employment to buy that ticket to the concert that they've been wanting to go to, and it turns out to be a fraud. It might only be $150 or $300, but that is significant impact to that individual. Whereas an individual who's playing risky business with cryptocurrencies and loses $100,000, yes, the price tag's higher, but typically those individuals have that risk reward type of relationship with their money. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but just that's why the XXX losses in that category. Next slide, please. So the purpose of this slide is to explain where the detachment action plan fits in with the OPP planning framework. So the provincial action plan, previously referred to as the strategic plan, is outcome focused and establishes our organization's long-term priorities. It outlines the OPP commitments and identifies key priorities for the years ahead. The detachment action plans are different. They focus on the day-to-day operational activities and initiatives that directly impact our local communities. So while the provincial action plan provides direction, the Peterborough County Action Plan provides the local execution. This allows us to remain focused on the unique needs of the detachment area while contributing to the broader goals of the Ontario Provincial Police. Next slide. And just bringing the presentation to a close, the 2026 through 2029 Peterborough County OPP Detachment Action Plan reflects what we've heard from our communities, our stakeholders, and our partners. It provides a practical roadmap focused on crime reduction, safer transportation, and stronger community well-being. So on behalf of the members of the Peterborough County Detachment and the Detachment Board, thank you for your continued support and providing me the opportunity to highlight some of our shared commitments to community safety and well-being. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Watson.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I'll just say a couple of words. Thank you, Inspector Galiaza, and of course your supporting staff person, Staff Sergeant Angie Kirk here in the room as well. Thank you both for your work on this. Council, this work started almost a year ago, almost more than a year ago now. And last summer, Councillor Taylor, Member Henry, who's here with us today, myself, sat and started looking at building this plan together. So a lot of work has led into that. It went through the board. Then Chair John Braybrook led us through that process to approve that. So I just want to thank all those who have been involved in that, as well as, as well as our admin staff, Emmanuel Pinto, who was very involved in that, and even more recently, both Sam and Amelia from the county. As Chris had mentioned, there was extensive community input on this. The countywide survey forums, the partner consultation. And council should be aware that a lot of that work was supported through county staff, or township level staff rather, to have some of those consultations happen within and throughout the county. And that's important work to help us identify those priorities that are identified in the action plan today. One thing I just want to, kind of the elephant in the room, I think many of us now have received letters from the Solicitor General about the cost of policing has come up for the 2027 budget. The action plan, of course, doesn't address that. Budget when it comes to policing is well outside of our mandate. And it is a common misconception that detachment boards are responsible for setting the budget, and all of us know, of course, we don't do that. That said, the rising costs of policing does matter to our board. And we're responsible for understanding the community needs and ensuring that we're receiving those, the value for those dollars. So it is still very top of mind for the board. But again, this is why the action plan is so important, because that is linking those priorities to the cost and ensuring we're getting value for dollars. So again, Chris, thank you for your work today and bringing that to us, and thanks to the board.
Thank you very much. Councillor Black.
Thank you, through Deputy Warden. Thanks for the presentation, Inspector. It was great to see the plan come to fruition. After spending about 9 years on the Smith Innismore board as both a member of council and a provincial appointee a couple of times, one of the biggest things that always came to the board was public complaints around speeding and how that was dealt with. Of course, each individual board back then dealt with the placement of the black cat and dealt with the individual as far as communication back and forth. And I've asked Councillor Henry, who's provided me updates on progress through that. Can you give us, again, more of an overview of responsibilities around complaints with respect to speeding, which seems to be one of the biggest things that the local boards used to get?
Through you, Deputy Warden. So, and I guess it depends on the level of the speeding complaint. So through the technology with the black cat and other monitoring, we can assess where the speed ranges are. What I can say is that we will obviously then take enforcement action, but what we've really grown into a great partnership with the county public works and engineering, where we do road safety audits, deeper dives into some of the causes. We look at signage. Can we reduce speeds? Should we leave speeds alone and just implement other measures? So again, to your point, it is probably one of the highest calls for service that we do receive. And other than sending an officer out and running radar, there's a bunch of data and planning that goes into responding to each of those complaints.
Great. Thank you.
Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Deputy Warden. Thanks very much, Inspector Galeazza, and also Chair Watson and previously Chair Braybrick for all of the work that's been done here. I think it's a great action plan and well put together. Just one question. One of the things we lost early on was the individual municipality or township data on police activity, which is very helpful because, as you said at the very beginning, our communities are very different, also similar. But for a local council to understand really what's going on in their own area in terms of activity, criminal activities, it helps to have the local data. So my question is, will that be reinstated? Will we be able to get that on a quarterly basis so we can monitor what's happening in our own municipalities?
And through you, Deputy Warden, at the last Police Governance Ontario meeting. It was the Peterborough County Detachment Board that brought a motion to the floor to enhance the OPP reporting to specifically address some of those concerns that you raised, Councillor. I know the motion passed. The information has made it back to OPP headquarters and command through the PGO. I'm hoping that the answer is yes, that we see those breakdowns. But I know a new report is in the works. I haven't been privy to seeing it, but I know that the concern has been heard and being addressed.
Councillor Burt.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Thank you very much for the report. I just wanted to make a comment when I look at your strategic pillars, and this, just a comment, this could fall under roadways, waterways, and trails, or community well-being. Just letting council know that through the PCFA and the agricultural community, we've had a very good working relationship with the OPP and the county on safety on farm safety on our roadways. There's been video campaigns, radio campaigns, lots of new signage over the last probably good four years. I think we've been dealing with that. So perhaps when you're doing your next round of reporting and that could be added to it, because I think that's an important piece that should be in there. So thank you.
And through you, Deputy Warden, I'm actually, I'm surprised that it got left out because of, and honestly, because of all the work that you highlighted. We've paid particular attention to that, and again, we've made a lot of positive headway. So duly noted. Thank you.
All right, if there are no further questions, can I have someone make a motion to receive the presentation? Moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Now we have Jeanette Lovies-Smith, who is the CAO of ORCA. And we also have the chair present here, Michael Metcalf. Welcome.
Thank you, Deputy Warden and County Council. I'm very happy to be back in chambers with you this morning. I'd also like to take the opportunity to introduce Alison McDonald, who is sitting up here with me as well. Some of you might already have recognized Alison. Alison is our project executive for the Eastern Lake Ontario Regional CA, and she's spending the day here in our beautiful watershed and starting with here this morning. Before I jump in, Deputy, I would be amiss if I did not take the opportunity also to thank you for all of your leadership that you have done for the conservation authorities over your time. And I also would like to thank CAO Graham for her support. We have shared services arrangements with Autonomy Conservation, and it's worked out extremely well. So a shout out again to your staff. And I'm also going to take the opportunity to also do a shout out to your EMS staff. So I was traveling one day early morning to Crow Valley, and I was unfortunately hit from behind. And I was treated very well by your EMS staff. They were very professional. They got me right, all the care I needed. And I just want to say thank you for the great work that the staff are doing out in the field. Everyone is well except for the car. So
Been there, done that.
thank you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to jump right in. And, next slide, please. So you've seen these links before. I do encourage you to keep these links on favorites, if you will. If you're interested in understanding what's going on in the Conservation Authority world, they are updated on a regular basis. And the last one, again, is the Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency. That is the agency that has been created alongside of the consolidation that will also help with directives to these 9 CAs. Next slide, please. So this slide does come from the MECP slide deck. It's always helpful to use some of that material. And so we are currently in phase 2 right now, working towards phase 3, which is still February the 1st of 2027. We've done a number of things, both for Crow Valley Conservation Authority and Otonabee Conservation. They are in good places right now for this consolidation. And so part of the phase 2 that I also highlight is Alison McDonald's appointment, which is now taking place. Next slide, please. I had this also in my past slide decks, but it is important because we do often get asked by members of the public and also elected officials, interested partners, what is changing and what is not changing through this consolidation. One of the key elements that I have highlighted in past presentations is around the lands and access to the lands and the trails. We do get that question quite a lot from members of the public. Will we still be able to go to our conservation areas? And the answer is yes. They will still remain well-loved places in your communities. And the other one I do also want to highlight, because this is the second most popular question, is where and how are CAs funded? And that is part of what we are talking about later in terms of the board representation. So with that, I'll move on to the next slide. This map is the map of the 9 consolidated conservation authorities. Again, we're moving from 36 into 9, and it gives you a good snapshot or a good picture of the geographic of the 9 in terms of things. We did start out with 7, and then through the consultation process, it moved to 9. And there was a little bit of a shift for the Eastern Lake Ontario one through that. All of the project executives have now been appointed for these 9 conservation authorities. Next slide, please. And again, just to highlight what are the conservation authorities that are being consolidated in our area, and there are 7. So it is a big job. We have the most consolidated 7. The other areas are 5 and 6 and 4. So we have a big job in terms of bringing 7 organizations together, but I think we are up for that task, and certainly Alison is keen to make sure that we are successful in that task. And that does bring me sort of where we are in this transition committee process, or this transition, I should say. So Alison's appointment, and she's now spending time getting to be more familiar with all of us, all 7 of us. So again, today in Otonabee watershed, she has already been to the Crow Valley watershed. I'm sure this is not her last time that you're going to see her. We also have the appointments of all of the transition members. And so again, the uniqueness that we have here, that is Chair Metcalf, who is also the chair at Crow Valley Board. And so he and I will be sitting on this committee that Alison will be chairing alongside the other conservation authorities. The meetings we're hoping will start in September. We're just waiting for a few more pieces of information to be able to get started. And alongside that, each of the conservation authorities did have interviews and prepared a number of documents for Ernst & Young, which is the consultant that's been hired by the province to help and assist through this transition period. And so I did complete all of those tasks on behalf of both CAs. And it's really helpful because it gives an understanding of the organization as we move through the transition, trying to put things together. But that's really where we're at. The second part, next slide, is sort of where things are at the next ERO posting. We knew that there were going to be some ERO postings coming out. One Deputy Warden, is with respect to the board representation on the new regional CA. And so this map is part of the supplementary that you can see in the ERO posting. I do have a link. I wasn't intending to pull the link up, but I encourage you to go and have a look at that ER posting. So we knew that we needed, again, bringing 7 CAs together. So now what is this representation of the new organization going to look like? And so this map is part of that supplementary. And next slide is the actual link to the posting, and it closes on September the 12th. And so I'm very appreciative to the CAO here at the county for having me on the very busy calendar, because this is very important to the county, which is now going to be the member municipality. And our jurisdiction is really the Peterborough County and the city of Peterborough in terms of things. So I did have some conversations with CAO Graham and to ensure that we were working together to make sure that the representation was respectful and appropriate in terms of how the province moves forward. So next slide, please. This table is also part of the supplementaries that are in that ER posting with that link that was in the previous slide. So if you can actually just look at Peterborough, so it's a large board right now, so this is where the province would take the ER posting, which is, you know, the words, and then apply them, right? This is how it gets translated in terms of things. And if you can actually just look at Peterborough County as an example, it's identifying that only 62% of the county is actually inside of this RCA. And we know that that's not true because the entire county is part of the RCA. So that's one flaw that has been identified. With that said, there are a number of other colleagues, CAOs, general managers, who are also identifying in the Conservation Authority world, who are also identifying some of the issues and concerns with respect to how the representation has been translated in these tables. And we did have a really good conversation yesterday at one of our Conservation Ontario meetings to talk about this. And so you're going to probably see a lot more advocacy, if you will, from lower tiers in particular, where we want to ensure that the population that the province uses is accurate in terms of calculating the representation on the board. And so if you go to, so that's the last slide on with respect to this. So this is not, Peterborough County is not the only flawed component of this. There are other counties, but I do applaud the county for making a recommendation, which you will consider later at a staff level, to issue these concerns back to the province. The last slide, I just want to say we're here. We're here, we're relevant, we're present. We continue to do good work. We continue to value the relationships that we have with our municipalities and the county. We have a lot of excellent things that will be moving into this consolidation. And I want to thank you for your support through this process. I realize this might be my last time here. As I got up this morning, it was a bit emotional, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy that for the relationships and the good work that we do on the ground in your communities every day. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. And I thank you for all that you've done, because it's been quite a turmoil since you took over as CAO. So thank you for all that you've done to get us to this point. And I'm going to turn it over to Sheridan to speak to the motion.
Thank you, and through you. So the motion provided on the agenda was actually did not come from the presenters. It came from county staff's recommendation to council that we do submit to the ERO posting with our concerns specifically on some of the data used to come to the recommendations for one appointee for Peterborough County. We want to make sure that those numbers are correct. And so that motion before you has been put forward for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair Senes. Thank you, Jeanette, for the presentation. I guess I'll just start off by saying that this transition to an amalgamated board has not been an easy process. And I know that Councillor Black has gone through it with the health unit, and there's a lot of similarities. But I'm really pleased with the approach that the Otonabee Region Conservation Authority used right from the start. And that is that we weren't going to waste our time and energy on opposing this and trying to figure out what's wrong and why it wouldn't work. We did the opposite. We said, okay, we know this is coming. There's no point in fighting it. So how can we make it work? And how can this improve things? And the province was very receptive to that. And under the leadership of CAO Smith and our board chair, Michael Metcalf, they have met a number of times with senior provincial officials, including the Minister of Conservation and Parks, and presented some ideas about how to improve it. And they were really receptive to that, so much so that they've come back to our conservation authority for advice or to bounce ideas off us from time to time. And I think that's the right approach. And I'm really pleased to have been a very small part of that. The question, Jeanette, that I wanted to ask you is, the county is going to be undergoing shortly a review of the boards and committee appointments that we need. And am I correct in saying that a conservation authority board representative will need to come from the county of Peterborough when this new board takes place?
Through you, Deputy Warden, the answer is yes. And CAO Graham is quite aware of that in terms of understanding the timing of it. So you have a municipal election, you come together as your county, you do all of your appointments. And in this case, they're looking for appointments right now for February the 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lambshead.
Yeah, just for clarification, the map on page 8 shows that the northern part of Peterborough County is not included in this conservation authority. And you said that on page 10 that we're going to correct them numbers, but it is probably only 60% of Peterborough County that is in this conservation authority that we're reorganizing.
Through you, Deputy Warden. So I think this is identifying the issue and the concern, right? So again, the motion that county staff have put forward would help to create, to correct this, both the mapping and the calculation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Martin.
Yeah, through you. So there is a couple of municipalities here, Northport and ourselves sit on Crow Valley, and the transition here that's been happening has been working really well. There's been some good things happening, and I'm kind of happy to see that. And but I do have concerns here with the one representative, because even in Havelock, Belmont, Methuen, we pay 39% of the levy for Crow Valley, which is about $400,000 or $360, somewhere in there. And we want to make sure that we have some representation there, or some sort of we're on top of it, because it's quite a hit for us. So thank you.
Councillor Huntley. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Through you, Chair. I just wanted to reiterate a lot of what Joe had already said. Actually, I wanted to say it first, but he said it, but I won't reiterate. But yeah, under your tutelage and your leadership, both yourself and Mike, I mean, you've definitely made this transition process a lot smoother for the Conservation Authority, and kept the wheels on the bus as all this has been going through. So thank you again for that. And speaking to the motion, I know we've been kind of fussing about, the one representation from Peterborough County. And I just want to draw kind of a little bit more of a problem with this. The way they've drawn this is, if you look at Durham Region, you're talking about literally Pontypool. There's not 200,000 people in Pontypool, so they should not have 3 representatives on this board. So that it's just kind of really highlights the flaws in this thing. So I thank you for bringing forward that motion. I will fully support it. And I believe it does need to be reviewed.
Thank you. Councillor Black.
Thank you through you, Chair. Jeanette, CEO Jeanette, I hope this isn't the last time we see you here. Your leadership, I'm going to repeat, has been tremendous in the whole process. You kept the board very well informed of the processes and then what's to come, and helped certainly calm the waters through that period. So I appreciate that as well. Just a question of clarification. So the new appointments will come in February for the county. The existing appointments to the Orca board are from the townships. Given the election timing in February, do those appointments continue on regardless of whether they continue to be on council, or how does that work? Will the individual townships have to appoint new people for 2 months? How do you think? I know there wasn't an answer the last time I asked it, but just again for clarity and process for the townships to understand.
Through you, Deputy Warden. I have two parts to that question, two parts as an answer. So one, through excellent planning and great work with the board, we are looking to have our last board meeting on September the 24th. So that's well within, we have our budget approval process on that day, and that also goes for Crow Valley as well. So we've front loaded the planning work and the work that needed to happen at the board at the beginning of the year to understanding that this transition was going to happen. There is a lot of dialogue going on in the Conservation Authority world around who sits and who would continue past the election, and is it appropriate or not appropriate in terms of things. And the way that there is a piece of in the legislation right now, it does speak to the fact that you need to be an elected official in order to sit on the board. And while we thought at one point that the board would just carry on until they were replaced, because there's that clause that they sit at the pleasure of the municipality, these two components conflict in terms of things. I know that the province is well aware of this, and that and so is Conservation Ontario. And so at the end of the day, this new legislation will be clearing some of that up in terms of things. But we have worked really hard to ensure that there were no substantive decisions needed from either board after the elections, so that you were not put in a place of compromise.
Okay.
All right, thank you. If there are no further questions, we do have a motion before us. I'm looking for someone to move it, please. Councillor Huntley, seconded by Councillor Watson. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we have a number of consent items before us. Madam Clerk, did we receive anything to pull them? No? Does anyone wish anything pulled? If not, I'll be looking for a motion to adopt the consent items. Moved by Councillor Whalen, seconded by Councillor Amiot. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Does any member of council have a notice of motion? Okay, are there any announcements? Sheridan, I understand you have one.
Thank you, and through you, I just wanted to announce that Warden Bonnie Clark was acclaimed as the chair of the Amo County Caucus.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Webb.
Thank you, through Dr. Warden. Just pleased to announce that I believe starting tomorrow afternoon, Thursday to Saturday, it's the first annual Sugarbush Bluegrass Jamboree in Havelock. So those that are unfamiliar, obviously they know that the Havelock Jamboree closed up 5 or 6 years ago now. This is the gentleman that originally started the first Jamboree, Mr. Jack Blakely from Havelock. So he started a new bluegrass festival. So that's located roughly 15 to 20 miles north on County Road 46 of Havelock. It's called Sugarbush Lake, but it's a very small lake and it's just on the one piece of property. So don't go looking for any signs that say Sugarbush Lake. But if you're interested, Thursday to Saturday, as I said, the trailers are already up there and they're looking to bring the festive mood back to Havelock from when it closed. So anybody would be glad to have you stop in.
Thank you. Councillor Graham.
Thank you, and through you. I just wanted to congratulate the four families that were recognized over the weekend as additions to the Peterborough County Agricultural Walk of Fame. I want to thank everyone at Lang for hosting and the committee for all the hard work that they do in recognizing these great agricultural community farmers and their families. And a special shout out to the Brackenridge family that was recognized from Cabin Monaghan. But a great event and great to celebrate agriculture in the county.
Thank you very much. Councillor Watson.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I just want to remind everybody that on Monday, September 7th, Labor Day, we are celebrating the 96th annual Duro Doings. All day long, baseball games, car and truck show, live entertainment, kids games, the 10K run, and of course the famous quilt raffle that evening. So if you're looking for something to do on Labor Day, I invite you all to come celebrate the Duro Doings with us.
Thank you very much. See no further announcements. We are now going to move into closed session under the authority of the Municipal Act under Section 239(2)K. Can I have someone move that? Councillor Burt and Councillor Taylor, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you.